So I'm here with the ever so lovely and talented Mathew V. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Thanks so much for making time to chat.
Yes, thank you for coming on at such late notice too. Thank you so much.
That is one of the perks of COVID is I'm not as busy as I once was, or I'm definitely not out of the house as much as I once was. So I am here and ready to chat.
Amen to that. Where in the world are you right now, actually?
So I am in Vancouver. I am downtown Vancouver in my condo. If you would have asked me a year ago, and I would have had some foresight as to what was happening, I may have moved to a location that has a bit more space. But yes, I am in the heart of downtown Vancouver right now.
Woo, we love local. How has quarantine been treating you so far?
I mean, quarantine has been it's been quarantine. I'm going a little bit stir crazy, but I think that everyone is. And I mean, I do understand that it's for the better safety of everyone. So I am taking one for the team. And if anything, I don't feel guilty about watching TV at this point. I get to feel like I'm contributing towards public safety.
Amen. Right? Like you can just stay home, Netflix, and it's like you're doing a great service to everyone.
Exactly. You know what? I never thought that I would be able to pat myself on the back for watching this much TV, but I definitely will.
What we watching? What we watching right now?
Oh my gosh, what am I watching? So it's that time of year. I have unfortunately dove headfirst right into Hallmark Christmas movies. The Christmas movies that every single one is exactly the same. It ends with a kiss. I hate to
Yeah.
spoil it just in case anyone hasn't seen a Hallmark Christmas movie, but yeah, I'm feeling in that corny Christmas spirit this year more than ever. I think considering everything that's happening, I'm craving some sense of nostalgic Christmas.
Amen to that. Some kind of home vibe.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm looking forward to when I start to hear some Christmas tunes popping up on Z95.3 for sure.
Oh, for sure. That's coming up real soon for sure. What you been up to since the world basically shut down?
Oh yeah, so I mean, keeping as busy as possible. There was a bit of a learning curve in terms of how I could be making new music in COVID. So I think there were a few months of racking my brain and brainstorming. But yeah, I ended up recording a full EP since quarantine started, which has been
Ooh.
um, really great, I think, for me to learn those skills and how to kind of persevere through all the different obstacles that
Mhm,
are there. But
mhm.
yeah, the team and I found ways to do things safely, and I mean, ultimately, to do things from different countries. I've been working here in Vancouver, unable to travel, and all the producers in different parts of the states and Europe and Toronto have all been we've been able to send lots of voice notes back and forth. But I've definitely been keeping busy in some aspects. So it's been really helpful for me to learn those skills.
Oh yeah, for sure. Has it been tough?
It's been tough. I think it's different when I'm working with people that aren't necessarily in the room,
Mhm.
or if I'm working with people that are in Europe, for example. It's tough because I'm awake when they're asleep.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm trying to do a little bit of mind reading here to kind of understand what they want, and then when I wake up, I see if I actually did what they wanted or not.
So it's really like back and forth.
Exactly. I think that it has improved my communication just in all aspects of life. So
Oh yeah.
I'm probably becoming a better partner, son, brother, all these different things from learning how to truly ask people what they want.
Oh yeah, for sure. So to my knowledge, you moved to London when you were 17?
I did. Yes, yes, yes.
How wow, at 17, like not even a lot of people can even move out of the house at 17. How was that experience?
It was wild in all honesty. Like I knew that I knew that I wanted to travel and I knew that I wanted to pursue music and I knew that I wanted to go to post-secondary school, and I was trying to find a way to kind of achieve all of those goals. So when I was in grade 10 or 11, I started looking at international music schools. I figured that that was a way that I would be able to kind of check off a lot of those boxes after I graduated. So I ended up getting into a school in London, England, and then right after I graduated high school, I packed my bags and left for one of the biggest and craziest cities in the entire world. And I think that it was definitely a huge wake up call for me. I turned into a adult relatively quick from uh, having to do absolutely everything. I mean, who knew that laundry piled up so fast? I definitely learned that super quickly, but it was awesome. I think it was the most transformative year of my life. I definitely learned a lot about myself as a person, and learned a lot about the music that I wanted to make. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
How long were you in London for?
I was in London for a year. I did my first year of school, and then I came back that
Mhm.
summer and ended up signing a record deal in Canada. And from that point, I was I there was no turning back from there. I realized that this is what I was going to school for, and I saw a path forward that I could kind of work at it from Canada. And then I still haven't been back. I was supposed to be in London right now, actually.
Oh,
Obviously, that is not the
not in the
case, but
plans. Yeah.
it was not in the cards for me this time. But I'm hoping to get back there as soon as safely possible.
Oh, for sure. What would you say would be like a huge difference from living in London versus living here in Vancouver?
Oh my gosh, like just nature. I think that I take things for granted, being spoiled growing up here in Greater Vancouver.
Mhm.
But it's funny, when I came back from London, which is like a concrete jungle ultimately. It's like there's amazing, beautiful historic architecture and all that stuff, but there's not a lot of green. There's definitely no mountains. And when I came back, one of the first things that I did is I went back to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, and
Oh,
I posted a photo on my social media, and I remember all of the new friends that I had from London were messaging me, asking me if it was real, if it was photoshopped, that they couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that there were all of these trees and all these hills to even have a suspension bridge. So I think that I definitely don't take the beautiful nature around us for granted like I probably did when I was younger.
for sure. Is it true that there's more tea than coffee over there?
Oh, tea, tea all the way.
All
It,
the
it's
way.
I mean, it's caffeinated tea. I think for the most part, it's less of a herbal tea situation, more of like an English breakfast tea
Mm,
situation.
it's really
Uh,
caffeinated.
yeah, definitely. But so I think it's people are getting their caffeine however they can find it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you prefer tea or coffee more?
I'm a tea drinker. I will say that I never got into drinking coffee.
Oh, okay.
I never really convinced myself to like it, and I typically, like, I don't love drinking tea either, but I'll drink like a green tea or a chamomile tea or an herbal tea just for the health benefits.
Yep.
Um, but I think that I prefer eating my calories, I think.
Claps to that. Claps to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Your album, Two Face, not too long ago.
Yes,
How does it
it's fun. It's
How'd
funny how
everything
time
go?
flies. It
How was
feels it feels great. Thank you so much for asking. It's been a long journey getting that album finished and getting it out there. It's so strange that it's finally out there, because I think it's lived in my mind as something that was coming up for so long now. But I'm so happy that it's out. I'm so happy that it's done some of the things that we wanted it to do. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm ready to move on. I think that and I mean, I have been working on lots of new music. Lots of people say that music is kind of like their kids, but as I'm speaking about it now, I would hope that if I had a child after 1 or 2 years, I wouldn't feel done with it and ready to
You
move
would have
on
been
to the
like, all right,
next.
move on. Yeah.
Exactly. So I still love it like one of my children, but I think that I'm definitely ready to try some new stuff, and I'm really excited about some of the stuff that we've been working on.
Yes. I know I listened to it and I heard your rendition of Lucky. Super, super good. What was your decision to cover it and then include it on your album?
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and thank you for saying that. I grew up listening to like bubblegum pop music.
Oh yeah.
I think that it kind of formed my pop sensibility and just my love for melody and great pop writing. And
Mhm.
I was always addicted to watching the legendary divas that I think my generation got to grow up with. And
Man.
um, I loved the song Lucky, and I think that like the lyrics were, like, in my opinion, like super sad and super heartbreaking, and they had packaged it in a really fun and clean poppy product, but I wanted to see if I could kind of break that down and kind of deliver it in the way that I interpreted those lyrics. And so yeah, it was fun to strip it down, and ended up working out in a way that I think we were happy with. And I'm happy to have it kind of living out in the world as a bit of a different interpretation of
Mhm.
Britney Spears' smash song.
Of course, the pandemic like took its toll, but do you plan on like touring when it's, safer out there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny because I was in show two of a countrywide tour with a wonderful artist named Ralph.
Ah, yes, yes.
When the first lockdown happened, we had just played Vancouver, and I was on my way to the airport, and there was all of this news breaking really fast at that point. And I
Mhm.
had all my bags packed. We were heading for Edmonton. I was going to fly there, and then we were going to go across the rest of the country. And there were a lot of phone calls on that drive of realizing, was I going to get on the plane. That was the day when they were just setting, or different provinces were setting regulations for group gatherings of
Mhm.
more than 50 people.
Mhm.
um, Edmonton hadn't at that point, but they could have been about to. Ultimately, I didn't want to fly somewhere and then get trapped.
Mhm. Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
just before I got on the plane, we ended up not going, and then the show ended up being canceled that evening. So I'm happy that I guess I didn't end up locked away in.
Like
in
Edmonton, yeah.
yeah, so it's strange. I'm looking forward to going back and playing those shows. I keep searching the internet for some sort of a hint as to when we'll all be able to do that. But I think the whole world's kind of waiting for, science to kind of lead the way as
Yeah.
to when some sort of sense of normalcy will come back. I'm not a very patient person, but I'm definitely working towards it through COVID for sure.
Hopefully soon though. Hopefully they say end of 2021, but hopefully fingers crossed.
My fingers are crossed. I'm, flexing my optimist bone. If I have one, it's definitely working right now.
It's definitely there for sure.
Absolutely.
You're one of it's like kind of not too long ago, your release with the amazing Jocelyn Alice, Missing Me.
Yes.
Can we talk about that because it's everything?
Oh, thank you so
Super,
much. That's
super,
so
super
sweet.
good. How is it to work with the amazing Jocelyn Alice?
Oh, working with Jocelyn was such a dream, and Jocelyn is someone that like I have listened to for so many years and looked up to, and I can't turn on a radio station and not hear a Jocelyn Alice song. So
Mhm,
I, for me, I was on tour with Ria May last year,
mhm,
and Ria May had asked me. She said, "Oh, have you heard of this act named Jocelyn Alice?" I was like, "Duh, of course I have." And she said, "Oh, well, I think that you guys would, really like each other's voices." And I said, "Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Ria." And then a week later, I woke up to a DM from Jocelyn saying that she loved my voice, that she
yeah,
wanted to work on something together. So on my next trip to LA, Jocelyn was in LA at that point. We got together, and herself and Ria May and a wonderful artist named Bria Isabel had written the framework for Missing Me,
mhm.
and we kind of took off and ran with it from there. But it was such a treat for me to be able to work with someone that I've looked up to in the Canadian industry for so long, and um, I'm so grateful for that song.
Yeah, super, super good. Like I'm not even kidding. So good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
The music video too, another thing. Oh my goodness. Where does it end? It's so like from the shots, the storytelling, and that last shot when it's like your own point of views, but you like pass by each other like nothing happened. Crazy. So mind blowing.
Oh my gosh, you are the absolute sweetest. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching, and thank you for appreciating it.
Of course, of course. We appreciate art in this household. What was the
Yes, in this
inspiration
house.
behind the music video? I gotta know. I gotta know.
Okay, so for this music video, it was directed by Emma Higgins, and she came to us with this idea of having the two different perspectives on opposite sides of the screen. And
Mhm.
Jocelyn and I absolutely fell in love with it. And it was one of the easiest music videos that I think we've ever shot. It was uh, a super female-led crew and team, and the energy was just so wonderful, and it was so easy. And for me, it was nice to be able to sit back and trust other people's visions on this one, and I think Jocelyn did the same. When we were looking at different people that we could work with on the video, um, she had mentioned that she really wanted to work with this director and I should check her out. And her name was Emma Higgins. And Emma Higgins is actually the director who did my first ever music video, Tell Me Smooth. And so I think it was kind of written in the stars for this video to work out the way that it did.
So you mentioned you wrote an EP in quarantine. Can we expect anything else from you soon in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that we're going to start. If I mean everything in 2020 has kind of felt up in the air, but I think we're going to start rolling on some of this music in the new year. Hopefully, there's some new positive energy in 2021. It lifts this dread that 2020 has placed down on us. But I have lots of collaborations coming up next year and a lot of new original Mathew V music. So and probably a bit different than we've heard before. So I'm really excited to get it out there.
How exciting! Is there anything else you would like to add or say?
Oh, I'm just saying, I put my vote down for Jolly, and I hope that I get to hear you on the air for the Kid Carson Show intern. I think that would be so cool, and I'm just wishing you all the best with this journey.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Cry. Thank you so much, Kid Carson. You listening? I got Mathew V. What?
Yes, I have no choice but to stand, and you
Stan,
definitely
Stan.
have my vote. Yeah.
Well, this is your moment to plug yourself. Where can we find you?
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So you can find me at Mathew V Music on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Matthew only has one T in it though, because my parents forgot one. So it's like math ew. Like, we all hate math.
Yeah, why is it only one T actually? Let's talk about that.
I know. I feel my parents wanted me to be different, which they definitely got that.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm gonna stick it with the fact that they knew that math is awful and they just wanted a math ew situation. So I'm gonna take that one to the grave with me for sure.
You gotta coin that. That's like merch right there. That's like pop
Absolutely.
culture right there.